Hi, welcome to the Coaching Game. I'm Laurie Lawson, and tonight my guest is Sarada Chiruvolu. I knew I would mess it up.
That's good
You
enough.
say your last name, and then we'll never say it again.
Chiruvolu.
Thank you.
Chiruvolu.
All right, that's the last time we're going to say the name.
I know it's a bit hard.
It's the last time we're ever going to say that name. We're going to call her Sarada, but that's good. And she has written a fantastic book called Home at Last, and we're going to find out exactly what that means and how you get there, how you get home. I want to tell you a little bit about the Coaching Game, which is a coaching tool that was devised in Israel, and it's one of the best that I've ever seen. It's really designed to bring right and left brain thinking together, and it's kind of amazing. There's a bunch of pictures and a bunch of captions on the pictures that may or may not go together, and I usually ask my guests to pick some, and Sarada picked 4, and we're going to find out why. But first, we want to know a little bit about you. Tell us, I know you didn't start out in life being an author, to raise higher consciousness. What were you doing before you decided to write this book? And
I was a normal person doing normal things like everyone else, Laurie. I was a mother. I have a husband, and I was working in pharmaceutical company for many years. Normal life kept going, and all of a sudden, it took a turn. There's some kind of a transformation is happening within me, that I lost interest totally in a lot of things I was doing day to day, even housework, even being a housewife, or being a mother, being a wife. None really mattered. None really excited me. And I was working, and everything was going well. I was functioning well. But there's something took a turn.
I think I know what you're talking about, because in the world of coaching, people are doing regular things, and they're making money, and they're doing their career, and they're building their families, and suddenly you go, it's got to be something else. There's just a little something's missing there. Is that what the feeling was?
Yeah, a shift, to a different direction.
Yeah.
Something that wants you to look into, perhaps.
Oh, a little prodding, yeah.
Yeah, as if somebody's telling me, there's something else you need to turn into, or whatever.
How did you find the courage to answer that? Well, we're going to say calling, because that was one of the cards that Sarada picked, calling. How did you find the courage to answer that calling? Because we all get caught up in, I need money for the rent. Oh, what about my health benefits? What about, how did you get the courage to do that?
Yeah, it is really strange. I don't even know. It's not something really I had planned, or I was doing it purposely, or preparing myself toward this change, or change in direction.
Right.
It sort of happened. So I
what
wanted
were your choices? Your choices were to go with the change, or to carry on but not be satisfied? Or did you have a choice?
My choice was that drive was, and the curiosity was so much, I wanted to find out.
You had to do it.
So that's, I went toward whatever it's directing me toward. I just wanted to find out so bad. What is it that's happening within me, and I want to know, as I am not being interested in other stuff anyway, and I wanted to find out. And nothing I was doing was interesting anymore. So that's when I decided to give up my job. Just gave out resignation.
How long ago
was
that?
Everybody was just stunned.
You don't do that. Not when you're successful. I did that once, and I remember I had an uncle who said, "You don't quit when you're successful." It's like, when do you quit? It's like that.
Yeah. It was a great job, and I enjoyed it, and everything was perfect. But something, like I told you, I wanted to find out. There's more to life than working and doing everything over and over. Sometimes I get people slice, there comes a turn. You take it, it changes you somehow. That happens to some.
It does. Usually it's a catastrophic incident, that or not catastrophic, a total change. You get married, or you lose a loved one, or you lose your job, like you said, or you get divorced. I mean, but yours was just you were coasting along, doing okay, but it was like, no, got to go over here.
Yeah, it's like you just said, it's a type of a calling to a different direction, move to a different. It's
And
like
you
I
answered
called it calling as well in my book. To find out what's life is all about. You know, what is this life? What are we here for? You know, where do we go?
The age-old question.
Yeah, it's like I know when you sit down and think about it, you start a lot of these questions come about, and you want to find out, and that's what had happened.
All right, explain to me about home. When you say home at last, what does that mean, home at last? I love the title. That's what got me interested. It's like, oh, I love this title.
When that curiosity, when you have this calling, when that curiosity and the drive gets satisfied to a point, then you're home at last. Let me explain a bit.
Okay.
We all are taking a journey. Life is a journey.
That's my tagline.
You know?
Life is a journey,
Yeah,
not a
life is a
destination.
journey.
Yeah, enjoy it.
And everyone is evolving at a certain pace. You know, there comes a time one gets that ability to transcend to something totally different, you know, and find out. So when you get to that point with finding out we're here, the life we're here for is not real. It's really temporary. It's like a game, a school, you know.
Yes, a school. I love that. Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And there comes a time when you find out, well, this is not it. Where did I come from? What's it all about? Where do we end up? You know. So that's when you take a turn and you find out when one gets to that point where that experience of oneness or the total existence, why we're here, question comes about, and you sort of, turn toward that. What everything that is, you know, you get into that finest fabric of consciousness, you know, to raise your consciousness to the point where you will experience that realization that we're all one, actually,
Right,
and we go back to the source eventually, where we come from.
Well, let me. Oh, so many questions.
I know that is a
no,
bit
that's
too
great.
much, probably.
Not really. I want to ask you about home. Is home a goal, or do we get born in home and get lost? How do we know when we're home? You know?
Yeah, home is something. It's a self-realization that we have forgotten over time. You know, when we come, we are that pure being. You know, pure
baby,
consciousness.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
when we come onto this earth and start leading a life, and then over the time, I think we have forgotten who we are, and we became something totally different.
And we're pushed into different. You know, our parents try to guide us.
We
and
have
society,
developed this thing called ego, and we developed all these established belief systems, and conditioned way of living, behavior patterns. Changed everything totally, and that pure energy or pure self within us, the divinity that is within each one of us, has forgotten.
Wow.
So we're tapping into that again. We're trying to
would
get back to that.
Would that be like, I noticed you picked the just be card. It's like if you could just be.
Right.
Without the ego and without all the, without
all the things that you have accumulated over the time.
By defining yourself, because Americans especially define themselves by what kind of car they drive, or how big their house is, and it's like, what does that
is
mean?
all that's something else you became,
Exactly,
you know?
yeah.
And you live with that, and then that's what directs our life later on. You know, that ego is ego-driven. You know, it's like we're doing stuff, whatever we want to attain, and we want to get. We want to all these desires and all sorts of things that take over us mostly. And then when one is transcends and gets that ability to find out and stop and look into yourself, what's it all about? You know, we got to go back and find out who we are really, and that's when that the unification of everything that is, that oneness, you'll experience that.
Yeah.
And that's what the home is, you'll feel the home when you get to that point. That when you tap into that oneness, or when you tap into that finest fabric of consciousness, you're home.
Now, like I said, my tagline is, life is a journey, not a destination. So how does home fit in that? Because once you get home, is that it? Do you take a break? Take a break and say, okay, I'm home, good.
No.
No.
You just live the life that's given to you. From that point on, the life gets better.
With
You're
the
tasting
awareness.
the largest slice of life. Your capacity and your capabilities in the highest mode, you're functioning well in this world.
Yeah.
And that's what we all want. How do you function in this world to the utmost capability?
Without losing yourself.
Exactly.
That's the hard one. And that's when I was doing the corporate thing, it's like, this is not me. I don't like these games, and it was like, no, so you know when you're not being you. It's like, even if you're successful, that's not your goal.
There's something missing always,
Yes, yeah.
That's because you're not totally there,
Yeah.
You're getting all these things, you're getting the titles, you're getting this promotions, you're getting this, and this rat race, we're all going. When does it? But it's not satisfying sometimes for people.
I think it's less. I mean, I sound like my grandmother now, but I think it's less for kids today because there's no attention span. They're bombarded with information. It's like, I don't know what I would have done with all that information as a child. It would be like, no, enough already.
Yeah. No. By no means home at last means, well, you're there home and now you're done with it. It's not like that. You continue living in a much higher capacity of, of doing things. You're much more capable of doing a lot more than what you're used to, and with that total balance in your life, total equanimity in your life. You gain a lot with coming to the realization of your own self.
It sounds like it's a fuller, richer life.
And that's what we all want,
We really
what
do.
All people want.
I mean, even those trying to beat the stock market want a fuller, richer life, and they think that's going to get it for them, you know.
Right.
And that's kind of, I often say, it's like, I don't know, I think until you reach a certain level of success, defined by society, I'm not sure you can say, oh, I'm giving all that up.
Right.
Because I think you have to keep getting successful, and then you realize this isn't doing it. There's got to be more. But for those people trying to put food on a table, I can see where the problem would be. Like, I don't have time for that. I'm trying to get food on the table.
Right.
So it's hard. How did you get home?
We got
give us the path.
Yeah.
Where's the map?
We all get caught up in this rat race.
Yeah.
It's more like I wasn't really purposely looking for this type of thing, or I wasn't really planning to be, switching my gear or turning into different route or whatever. It just happened, like I told you, when one transcends or when one gets that ability, we all will get there, sooner or later. It's just a matter of time. It's not like, okay, I've got this time that I turned into this, or it happened to me. It's not like that. It will happen to everyone in this life.
That?
Oh, definitely. And when it comes, when it's their time, it's like a school. You go through third grade and you have to pass everything, and you take your exam and you go to the next stage. So we're all taking a journey. We're all evolving at a certain pace. So we need to wait and see. Have we finished everything what we're supposed to experience? Have we done everything?
I'm of the philosophy that, okay, this is, like, I love what you said, this is a learning ground, this is a school.
It is.
That's what we're
Life
here
is,
for, to
life
learn.
is like that,
And if you don't get all the lessons, you get to come back.
Come back. Exactly. That's a good
You
quote.
believe that?
That's
good.
very much I believe that. That's
Okay.
exactly what's happening. What do you call reincarnation? That's what it is. You come back in a different body, a different
Yes,
time, and you get another chance.
Exactly, and you get the
fulfilling what you're
lessons that
supposed
you
to do.
need. I believe that. Whether you all do, it's okay, but that's our philosophy. So it doesn't mean that, okay, you say, okay, I'm in the year 2016, and my goal is by 2018 I'm home. Not going to work that way.
No. It's not something that you. We have a lot to do with how we lead our life, and all the good things we do, or how the way of thinking is, or how the
Right.
thought process is, and it all has an impact on when one transcends to a different level in their life. Sometimes, how do you reach higher states of consciousness? How do you how do you raise yourself to a higher consciousness? By practices that we're some kind of a spiritual practice, at least. It could be prayers, could be reading scriptures, could be doing something. Sit down, do meditate for a few minutes.
Right, right.
Anything helps going forward. But it doesn't mean one has to consciously, continuously leave everything else and just work on that either. It'll come to you eventually.
Well, I think so many lessons come from life.
Right,
And it's like
right.
if you
It'll
sat
come
in
to you.
and I wonder how, like Buddhist monks, where they're alone
Right.
and isolated, how do they get their
No,
lessons?
no.
Because
I mean, that's a different story. But
yeah, we having never done it.
No,
either of
some
us.
some people feel that they need to leave everything and go away
Right,
to
and-
get to that point.
Yeah, but
No,
you're
no.
not well, and I know she's not telling us that because I read the book, but you're not telling us that.
Nope, not
tell
at all.
Tell us a path. Tell us.
I even emphasize that in my book. No one needs to leave your given life and go anywhere to get enlightenment or realization, experience that realization of your divinity
that.
within.
Yeah.
You don't do that. Do what you have given in your plate first. Take care of what's in your plate first. Could
Right.
be home, family, or working, career. Fulfill that properly, in a right way. Do it right, with lovingly and interest, with consciously, and that itself can make you move forward.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I did. I mean,
But
look
I
at
think
it.
it all matters about awareness. If you're aware, right?
Exactly,
If you're
exactly.
aware of what you're doing,
Right.
then even it's like, oh, my boss just, really messed me up today. But it's your awareness of how am I going to react to that? How am I going to change that? Am I going to change that? Am I
Right.
going to put up with this? All that.
Now, a lot of people get, caught up in the world, and then they just sort of like, geez, meditation is not for me, or sitting still is not for me, or, spirituality is not for me. It's nothing like that, Fine, maybe it's not for you right now, but there comes a time in one's life where you do shift a little bit, where you will think, God, you know what? I'm tired. What's it all about? What do we need to do to lift ourselves up to a different level of being?
Well, I like that you said, because I know you're a proponent of meditation. And it's like, it's okay, you don't have to sit on a mat for an hour every day and chant and, under a tree. I know you do. I know you have a tree in your backyard, but that's your favorite tree.
No, nature.
Yeah, that's it. I have a
I love
balcony,
nature.
and my balcony, which overlooks 42nd Street, it's still my little piece because I'm outside. But so tell us a little bit about meditation. I just saw something on YouTube where I believe it was a monk said you can meditate in minutes if you have to. Just keep it concentrating on the breath. Tell us, how do we meditate?
Meditation is not easy for everybody. I can understand that, because it entails a lot of focus, concentration, and trying to be sitting still without any kind of
In
thoughts
today's
or any kind of
society, it's like
pending things to do or
answering
what
a
have you.
phone or doing email.
Yeah, what
it's like,
have
oh my
you?
God.
Giving up all that and just starting out at least just 5 minutes or even 10 in a day of 24 hours. Hey, come on, that's not even much. Everybody
Not
can
a
do
good
that.
excuse.
Yeah, so meditation entails actually a type of a concentration, on one pointed object or one pointed item within your system. Normally what I did when I was meditating was focusing on the center of between your two eyebrows.
The inner eye or the third eye.
Yeah, that's what they call
That's
third
what we
eye.
call it,
And then Eastern way of saying is the Agna chakra. There's a chakra there. So it depends. Or somebody can focus on a favorite photo, like just Jesus Christ, or I don't know, whoever, an idol or a kid or a lamp or something.
Yeah.
But focusing on the same object.
I love that because I think where people get hung up, and I know that I'll raise my hand, that's me, is that, oh, your mind has to be blank. My mind will not be blank. It can't be blank. I've tried it. I've tricked it.
That's what a lot of people try to do.
And that's what happens. It's like, I can't meditate. That's what I tell myself. I can't. My mind won't be blank.
Nope.
So it doesn't really, you just have to be aware. It's that awareness, right?
No, mind will become blank with practice.
Yes.
And, a practice and persistence.
I'm going to go with that persistence card there.
Right.
It's like, stop giving up so easily. Yes.
Isn't that how we all do and gain what we want out of life?
Yeah.
Being persistent and going after something that you want. Don't give up.
Focus is one. I love that you said focus, but also, saying, you know what, I'm going to do this for 5 minutes, and if my mind goes here and there, okay, then next time maybe it'll just go here and here,
Right. No, it subsides eventually, believe me, it'll subside. Yeah. Mind will be like, it's like total disaster at the beginning. Mm-hmm. All the thoughts are coming, all the things you think you need to do, or you have done, or you had a fight with somebody. All sorts of things will come and bombarding you.
When I sit down, it's like, oh, I should be doing blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, this isn't meditating. This is like making my to-do list.
No, that slowly goes away. If there's a strong intent, wanting to meditate, and wanting to know, or that curiosity is there for individuals that you want to get there, and you're persistent, like the card says,
right,
you'll get there.
Give us the benefits of meditating. Give us some to make us sit there for 5 minutes.
Yeah, you know what? There are hundreds of them. You must have read hundreds of them. Meditation is not just for enlightenment or realization of self. It does calmness and stress relief, blood pressure issues, even Alzheimer's. There's this article that I had read. It changes and alters your brain waves and calms it down. The way of your thinking, subsides all mental and all sorts of issues that you may carry. It subsides everything. And in general, the day-to-day work, meditation, 5 minutes will help you. People think that meditation is only for spiritual people, and then they're just, or they're going to get into enlightenment. No. It's not at all. In fact, enlightenment and self-realization doesn't happen to you until you're ready. One is really ready to attain that experience.
So you're kind of building the path.
Exactly.
You're paving the road and saying, I'm getting ready. It's so interesting because I had Alan Lucas, who's the head of the New York Meditation Center, on the show. And when it was Burma, he was caught in a plane crash. And his foot was caught and the fire was on fire. The plane was on fire. And he attributed meditation to getting him out, because he said, I knew I was in serious trouble. I knew my wife went out the front door, and I knew I had to calm down and get my foot loose. And he said, had I not been meditating every day, I would have been panicked and crazed and probably dead.
It calms you down. It gives you that balance, that equanimity, like I was talking about, how you can balance your life with good and bad, and all the positives and negatives, they subside.
Yes.
In course of time with meditation.
Well, let me ask you something. I know you have a mentor, so to speak, called Amma. Right? A beautiful woman. You'll see her in the book. Do you do that for people? Do you help people meditate, or is this their guide? And everything you need is in here, more than what you need. It is so technical. She goes way below. But do you do that, or do you just advise? Because I know you travel around the world. What are you doing when you're traveling around the world?
Well, I'm mostly here. I'm not traveling around the world. I go to India once a year.
Oh, okay. Well, that's around the world.
Amma came during my journey, latter part of my journey, actually. Amma, I consider her as a spiritual guide, spiritual leader, a teacher, a guru, whatever you want to call them.
Do we all need a spiritual leader?
That's a good question. Yeah. Eventually you do. Eventually, when one is ready, you'll end up with a teacher.
It's so funny because you will find it. You will find it. Yes.
You'll find them, or they find you.
And that's what I tell because I do mentor coaching, and that's what I tell my mentees. It's like, okay, don't worry about who you're going to coach. They're going to find you. You're calling. They're going to call you.
Yes, they do. You know why? These people, highly evolved souls, they come to raise human consciousness. that's why they're here. They help to help us all, give us tools, give us talks on how to be in a different way, and how to elevate yourselves, lift yourselves, so we function well in this world with a much better capacity. You know, that's their job. So they come and they help us, and it's good they're here. Our perception is much more. Clarity happens in our perception when we are meditating.
Yeah.
After gurus help you, they kind of like give you the direction, or they clean up your path, kind of like, you know, so you can lift yourself up.
All right, I'm going to tell you a couple things not to get crazy about with meditation, because and I'm listening because everybody knows who watches me on this show is like, meditation is my goal. I never do it. It's like I have a million excuses. So one is, don't get crazy. If your mind won't focus, it will. It comes with practice.
Correct.
Two is, don't worry about. She just said that you have to have a spiritual guide. Don't worry about it. They will find you, and you will come together when it's supposed to happen.
Yep.
Okay, I feel like I can take.
And then you'll get there. You know, you'll find a teacher that resonates with you. You know, then you'll be attracted to that particular teacher. There are hundreds of them out there right now, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
you know, there are a lot of people do a lot of workshops, give discourses, and
absolutely.
this,
and it could be. They don't have to have a strip on their head that goes, "I am your spiritual guide." It could be something else who guides you spiritually by saying.
Teacher, a guru. They call it Eastern way of saying gurus. You know, gurus.
Yes. All right, this book is so gorgeous. I want you to tell us, what are they going to find in this book? They're going to find.
It is a great book. I don't want to boast, but this is
boast. It's nice.
My own journey. You know, how I had. This is not only a memoir of my journey, but it's informational, gives guidance. And it has most profound insights of my own experience that I went through.
Yeah, she's got like 10 tips to make it easier.
Yeah,
I mean, have just how to get your progress going. It doesn't say that's not how she says it, but yeah, very simple things like that.
Simple tips like practice meditation just 5 minutes. Start out. Eventually you get there, or take care of your health. That's another big issue. A lot of people.
Exactly.
Your body's where you
want your mind good, but you want your body good. But you're so right about that. Meditation affecting it, because I know once when I was waiting for the doctor, and it was like I was crazy. Oh, I don't know. And I said, let me meditate, and my blood pressure was like was almost dead. It was so low, and he goes, "What happened?" I don't know. I meditated for a few minutes. It really has a physical as well as a spiritual.
No, that's really important. You have to take care of your health for
absolutely.
Any spiritual practice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it won't work. Nothing will work.
And here not only will you find lots of tips and things like that, but you're also gonna it goes into really in-depth detail about just things that you may or may not need, but don't get lost in that, because what you're hearing Sarada say is that anybody can do this. Anywhere you start is fine. And it's almost inevitable that you're going to progress to the next level.
Right.
We have 20 seconds left. Do you believe that? And a million more questions for you. But
I know we can't cover the whole. But the book has a lot of details.
Yes.
They can go into my webpage as well.
Right. It's right on the bottom there, and they can find it.
Yeah, and they can. I write a lot of blogs once in a while.
Okay, they'll find you. Thank you so much, Sarada, for being on the coaching game. I can't wait to get to. I'm really going to start it. I swear.
Thank you, Laura. It was an excellent experience for me.
Me too.
I love it. I loved it. Being with you, it's an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.